Hello, I'm GCU Sustainability Officer and I want to talk about business flights and our commitment to carbon neutrality. In June 19, the university declared a climate emergency and committed to becoming carbon neutral by 2050. In May 21, with the launch of Strategy 2030, that commitment was brought forward to 2040. Air travel represents 4% of our carbon footprint, and to become carbon neutral, we must reduce how much we fly for business. In this presentation, I want to explore some misconceptions about the benefits of air travel that stop us from using alternatives. So why do we fly? Colleagues tell us through our travel surveys and informal conversations that they fly because they believe it is better value for the university for two reasons: because it saves time and flying is cheaper. But does flying, particularly between Scotland and London, really save time and money compared to taking the train? I'm going to unpack our travel agent's data to see if flying between Glasgow and Edinburgh and London does indeed save time and money compared to taking the train. I'm going to use data from August 19 to February 2020 that shows that in that period GCU booked 666 flights and 53 rail journeys between Glasgow or Edinburgh and London. That's equivalent of around 1,000 flights and 100 rail journeys each year. So does flying save time? If we were to look at travel time alone, there is no doubt that flying is quicker, but flight time alone doesn't get us to our destination. So we need to look at a whole journey, door to door. And that shows that flying is marginally quicker than taking the train, by about 30 minutes to just over an hour depending what airports you fly to. But whilst this shows that less time is spent traveling when flying, we also need to consider potential to work, because colleagues tell us that reducing the amount of time lost traveling is important. And when you consider the potential to work, the value proposition of flying diminishes. Looking at the typical example journey between Glasgow to GCU London via London City Airport, we see that whilst flying is just over an hour quicker than the train, it has limited opportunities for uninterrupted work compared to train. Just look at the blue blocks in the diagram. On the plane, you possibly get 1 hour before boarding and 45 minutes during the flight, whilst on the train, you get a whole journey, about 4.5 hours, and you have the option not to work. So once the potential for work is factored in, the train is a much better proposition than flying because less time is lost not being able to work. There are also other benefits in taking the train. For example, on a train, you have more departure options than flying. You do not have to submit yourself to intrusive security checks, there are no luggage restrictions, and the overall experience is less busy. So whilst flights are marginally quicker, the train offers more opportunity for uninterrupted work in a less stressful environment. But what about costs? Aren't trains more expensive? Not really. If we look at average train fares as a proportion of an air ticket, the data shows that on average, trains are about 70% the cost of a flight, and that is without including the travel cost to or from the airport at the destination. Whilst trains are on average 30% cheaper than flights, the price difference increases the closer travel is booked to the departure date. Looking at prices, the average and range of train fares compared to flights show that on average, trains are cheaper and have a narrower price range than flying. Although trains cannot compete with some flights, for example the £9 Ryanair tickets, on most occasions the average rail fare is cheaper than the average flight. If we choose to travel more by rail, particularly for long distance journeys within the UK, the financial and carbon savings for the university would be significant. Our data shows that trains save time and are cheaper than flying. Please help the university cut its carbon footprint by choosing the train for business trips.